Coal miners rejoicing with President Trump today as he paves the way for American energy dominance, once again, signing an executive order to revitalize the beaten-down coal industry. Biden-era regulations be gone, leases will now be expedited, and permits will be streamlined from here on out.
Energy Secretary Chris Wright today slamming Democrats for spending years rubber stamping the Green New Scam, weakening America on the world stage. Listen.
China has under construction today more coal plants under construction than the entire capacity in the United States. So pretending that, closing coal plants in the United States is going to change global greenhouse gas emissions, that's just nonsense. What it is going to do is drive electricity prices higher for American consumers, destabilize our grid, and make it more expensive to produce steel and cement and these other key ingredients in the United States. President Trump's bringing back common sense, and I think everyone wins from that.
And the coal revival runs right through the great state of Montana. Governor Greg Gianforte joins us now. It's great to have you with us tonight, Governor. Want to get your take on this because I've covered energy for a long time and I've watched the amount of coal that we use in this country to produce electricity diminish over time. President Biden basically trying to do away with the industry altogether. President Trump understands that we need a 360 approach to energy, especially to meet the needs of the future, including AI needs and crypto needs. So tell me how you think this executive order is going to play out and benefit your state and the coal workers there.
Well, thank you for having me on. What President Trump did today was he pulled the plug on Joe Biden's failed energy policy. Montana is a net exporter. We have more coal in Montana than any other state in the country, and we've used it. We've used it to keep the lights on in Montana. We've been exporting it. We've been keeping the lights on in Seattle for decades, and we export our coal to Japan. So we've been keeping the lights on in Tokyo. The steps he took, these 4 executive orders that he signed today, are going to eliminate discrimination against coal. We shouldn't be picking winners and losers. He also empowered the Department of Justice to go after states that discriminate against coal. This is great. It's going to mean lower energy prices. Under Joe Biden, we saw a 30% increase in energy prices. We're going to see those come down under these new policies from President Trump.
Now, nobody uses more coal in the world than China does. Are you ready, perhaps as part of a trade deal, for a ramp up of sales to China? I understand you do sell to Japan and South Korea. But can you really ramp up, if necessary, the coal going to China as part of a trade deal?
Well, we need more export capacity on the West Coast. I talked about that today in our meetings. There was a particular item in these executive orders to increase export capacity, which we needed. The coal we have in Montana that's going to Japan actually goes through the port of Vancouver today, which adds transportation costs and drives up the cost of electricity in Japan. So there's more we need to do there, but we have nearly unlimited reserves. I think it's really important to point out, though, that the president also committed resources to technology innovation to make sure we're burning this coal cleanly.
Yes.
We can do this. It's not an either or. We can burn, as the president says, beautiful, clean coal well and protect the environment.
And Governor, I'm so glad you brought that up because it's such an important aspect of what we're doing here in the United States. Our oil was cleaner, yet Joe Biden wanted to take dirty oil from our enemies. Our coal is cleaner because of the technology, and yet for some reason he wanted to shut the industry down. Another aspect of this is not just meeting the demand that's coming, but it's also about creating jobs in this country. I have talked to coal miners whose family have been in this business for generations, and they talk about how Joe Biden promised them green energy jobs that never materialized in the economy, and that they don't necessarily have the skills to go out and all of a sudden, try to get an AI job or something. So people are excited about this revitalization of the industry.
Well, there's no question. And honestly, that was the most exciting part of this event today in the East Room at the White House. I was honored to be there at the invitation of the president. Of course, Secretary Wright, Secretary Burgum were there. But the star of the show were the coal miners that were in the room. And one gentleman came up, Jeff, and he told his family story about how he's pursuing the American dream. He doesn't want to be anything but a coal miner. He told us that, and he was so proud of what the president's doing, giving them hope again to pursue the American dream.
Governor, can you contrast dealing with this administration from the way you had to deal with the EPA and the other groups involved in monitoring energy production during the Biden administration?
Oh, it's night and day. Under the Biden administration, they targeted coal plants. In fact, the EPA came out with a rule. We have one of the largest coal power plants west of the Mississippi in Montana. Almost all of that power goes to Seattle to keep the lights on there. They issued a rule from the EPA specifically targeted at trying to shut down that plant. It would have destabilized our grid, driven thousands of people out of the state, eliminated an entire community. And frankly, when we raised these issues with the White House, in fact, I championed a number of letters signed by a majority of the governors in the country. We couldn't even get a meeting or a return phone call. This is my third time at the White House since President Trump has come in addition to meeting with him in Mar-a-Lago prior to him coming in. It's night and day. We have collaboration now. Before, we just got the Heisman.
Remarkable. Governor, great to see you. Thank you so much for being here tonight.
Well, still to come.
My pleasure.